Okay, so
already have the minus.
Same.
do it.
It's okay, I already have the minus. So. No silence for me.
Okay, sorry. That's where we are.
Don't write anything down.
Yeah.
I want to cusp of revolution here,
Okay.
which is also what my zodiac sign is called. Yeah. Because it's so close to the next one. Perhaps on the next George Washington.
Remember, factor it. Tell me the end behavior. Tell me the multiplicity. Tell me if it touches or crosses. This is just a review from what last day did I see y'all? Today's Tuesday, so Friday. Is that it?
Oh, yeah.
Just a heads up, there is a fire drill today. You're in second block.
Yes. The second block is in touch with it.
Yes. Second block is the only other class I could work in.
So y'all don't freak out when the alarm goes off.
I mean, it's gone off so many times for false alarms that I feel like this is.
And every single time we still jump.
I have this.
They changed the audio for it.
I mean, that's good.
It's a different voice now.
What?
It's a different
Is
voice
it
now.
Morgan Freeman?
I think
No.
it is.
It's a
No,
white
you
guy.
Morgan.
Is it like a?
It's a mid-20s white guy.
Oh,
Is it Samuel?
It has to be a woman.
So Speeds.
Woman's voice.
It used to be a woman's voice.
Not Speaks.
Yes.
Did it?
No, yeah, that one day after school where they rang it for 7 minutes straight. No, yeah, they changed it.
Yeah, that's why they were doing tests on her.
I don't know that I remember it being a girl's voice.
It is
Though.
a woman.
It was a woman, yeah.
But it was so garbled and indistinguishable
And
that
inhuman. It's
Yeah,
Siri does,
inhuman.
but it sounds
like it was the
Robotic.
worst robot voice I've ever heard in my life because it was barely a voice.
It should just be like a voice.
All right, so let's first talk about end behavior. So my leading coefficient is positive, which means my right-hand behavior goes which way? Up. And since I have the highest degree is 3, what does my left-hand behavior do? Down. It does the opposite. Okay? So then from there, what did y'all factor out first? Good. And factors of -2 that get me a -1. So if we set those equal to 0, we get x equals 0, x equals 2, and x equals -1. How many of each of those do we have? Just one.
Which is crosses, isn't it?
Means they all cross.
Oh, that's what that meant. 2.2 part 1 were the worst notes I've ever taken because I went and looked back at them. I'm like, I don't know what any of this means. Why'd you write that down? Because like it just said if it's negative, it crosses. I'm like, if what's negative?
That's why it's.
And it's not even talking about that. I have no idea what that means.
Your notes from Friday
Yes,
were just all over the place.
I guess. I just like had no idea what I was doing.
I use math notes because they're all
There's two buckets to the same question.
I just do it.
Yeah.
I actually didn't think about that.
All right, so that was Friday. This is today, Okay, we're gonna put it on a graph. Ooh. All right. So we have a 0 at 0. We have a 0 at 2 and a 0 at -1. Okay, my end behavior, you told me to the right, bless you, goes up, and to the left, it goes down. Okay, and through all of the 3 zeros, we cross through. So I'm just going to cross through here, cross through there, cross through there. Okay, so like I've said before, I'm not interested in your maximum and minimums. I'm interested in what does this look like? What does this look like? And what does it look like right there? Okay. I don't care how high this maximum went and how low this minimum went, even though you could technically find it.
Are those the extrema?
Yeah, what was that?
I figured that's what it was, just because that's the only thing that makes sense. Because they asked on the homework to find the extrema of the graph, and I was like, that's probably the.
Yeah, I'd have to double check with their vocabulary, what they're talking about.
Yeah. I'm getting my extrema removed.
All right. Questions? Okay. Nah, we don't need to do that one. Let's do this one. The other one was a parabola. I hope we can do that by now.
Joke's on you, Miss Chapman.
I know, right? Joke's always on me.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Joke's always on me.
The joke's always on me. Should not assume, right?
Do you want me to cease the joking?
It's kind of nice breaking it into 2 pieces like this because it's almost like a little mini built-in review day.
Sorry for restarting the camera. Forgot how to do it for a second. She would hate me.
And then just your
How's your morning been?
It's been all right.
asking Carrie to cancel our test.
Yeah, postpone
Yeah,
it.
please cancel it.
Because she postponed H days because she's out today. So she should postpone meetings.
Only
because
verify.
meetings are-
I will give you this advice though, don't ask her.
Okay, just let her.
Just let it be her decision.
Well, can you influence that decision?
No,
like-
because then she'll
No, because
know.
then she'll know that y'all are,
Not
that would get her
necessarily.
riled up and she'd probably go the opposite direction.
You
It's
could-
like she had
She's gonna,
intentions.
she's gonna make it yesterday, instead of never.
She's stubborn like me though. Like I think if a
I-
kid tried
she
to
is-
tell me
she
to
is
postpone,
far more
I would be
stubborn than
like,
you could ever
we're gonna push it a day up.
be. You've got like there's like you're stubborn, but you've got like you're like, oh, okay. Like at some point, you're just like, she fights for
Reasonable
she's-
person?
She's reasonable.
I wouldn't say that I'm
not
reasonable.
insulting her. I don't know who you're talking about.
You love her, Matthew?
I am very
She's
stubborn.
just the type to fight till the end.
Yeah.
I feel like at some point you just be like,
I like that one time when she was like late 20 minutes. I got to get done. You mean 40 minutes? Whatever it was.
All right, so to factor first, I don't ever like to have that negative in the front, just because it makes factoring a lot harder down the road. So I see they both have an X, so I'm gonna take out a negative X. And when I do that, I come across something more familiar, and that's the difference of two squares. Okay, so if I have the difference, which means subtraction, of two things I can take the square root of, that's why it's called difference of two squares. I can write that as x plus 2 and x minus 2. Okay? Last one to pass. Okay? So here we still get x equals 0, x equals negative 2, and x equals 2. They all have a multiplicity of how many? 1. And they do what? Cross. So on the test, y'all will literally have a table that you'll fill all this stuff in for one of the examples that you'll have. So 0, 2, negative 2. All right, let's talk about our end behavior. To the right-hand side, my leading coefficient is negative, so my right-hand behavior should do what? Okay, put it down, fall. Since my degree is an odd number, it is the opposite on the left-hand behavior than my right-hand behavior. And then we cross through every single one of those. Okay. Any questions so far? Try this one. This is like your built-in factoring lesson too. Remembering how to factor all this stuff.
Do you want a broom?
Huh?
Do you want a broom?
I've got two.
What
I'll
do
do
you
it
do?
here in a second. I was just getting the big pieces put together. I didn't want to. All right, so if you have x to the fourth and x squared, you're going to treat this as if you were doing any of the x squared with x problems. They show a way that you would substitute an x squared out for x. That's too much work. I'm still going to figure out factors of 4, and they get me -5. And what are they? Do it. -4 and what I'm saying? Yes. So instead of writing just x, because you have to the fourth and squared, you're going to put squared. So -1 and -4. That's only if you see x to the fourth and x squared. Okay? So I can factor this further by doing difference of squares. Or I could have set those equal to 0 and solved for x. I would have gotten the same answer if I remembered to put the plus or minus. So either or. So I have x equals -1, x equals 1, x equals -2, and x equals 2. I have one of every one of those, and I'm going to cross at every one of those. It's positive even, so up and up. And we're also crossing through every one of these. And a W. We are going to do an example where it touches. Don't worry. This is more so, like I said, your built-in factoring lesson, trying to go through all the different types of factoring. Okay. Any questions so far? No?
I can't think of it.
Okay. Let's do a different one. Go ahead and tell me the end behavior, the zeros, multiplicity, if it touches or crosses, and graph it. Oops. So used to writing 1. Remember, when you're determining if a graph is going to touch or cross at the x-axis, that is strictly by the multiplicity, not the 0, the multiplicity. So if the multiplicity is even, it's going to touch. If it's odd, it's going to cross. Okay. Be careful, my true or false people out there. That's what I like to call y'all. Where you write true or false like this. So then the teacher's like, I bet that's just how they draw their false, or they accidentally forgot to erase the other part of the T or
See,
something.
my problem is I'll put a lowercase t, and then I'll be like, I don't want to erase it, so I'll just put the top thing, so it's a full line through.
Yeah. So kind of like if you draw your C's like that, like a cursive T.
What? I would never look at that and be like,
That's
that's
the
just a
C.
C.
That's just a
It's
weird
just a
C.
C.
Trust
A
me,
flagellum.
people do it.
Well, people
They're like, see, I was writing a T and I just start curling it and I just didn't draw the top enough.
you curl it a little bit, not like that.
Yeah.
Y'all, I'm telling you, the things I see, the things I hear. Okay, so in behavior, what's my highest degree possible?
10.
The 10th power. I don't have a negative in front, so it's going to be positive. So -5, -4, -1, and 3 are my zeros. So if it's positive and even, up and up. At -4, you told me I'm going to cross. Sorry, at -5, we're going to touch. Sorry. We are going to cross at -4. At -1, we're going to touch. And then at 3, we're going to cross. It is so ugly. You go back and fix it. Make it look pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can see
It
you
still
doing it.
doesn't look pretty though.
It's an ugly graph, no matter what you do.
And sometimes too, when you're on a calculator, depending on what kind of graph it is, let's say this is your screen, this could be your
Can you
graph.
tell the rest of the calculator, so I know.
That could be your graph. And that's all you see. So that's why we do the sketches. You want the rest of the calculator?
Yeah, I need you to draw the rest of it. So.
All those buttons.
Like 10 minutes and like labels them too. It's like
Yeah,
a
let me
test
get
all.
out my fine print pen that the school provides. All right, any questions on that one? Okay. That's the one we already did. Let's practice this example 5. It's another one like you had on Friday, and you also had it on your homework. Just one of those I want to make sure we know how to do. It's one of the most missed questions on the test. Or you have to write them as factors first. Remember, if we're multiplying by the conjugate, we should not have any radicals in our final answer. So just like any 0 we take and turn it into a factor, we're going to do minus. And I'm going to distribute my negative. Okay, I personally like to use the box method only because that keeps it organized for me. So maybe I'll just want to multiply it out and go for it. Let's see if we ended up with the same answer. Okay. So I get x squared minus 6x minus x root 3 minus 6x plus 36 plus 6 root 3 x root 3 minus 6 root 3 and then minus 3. Okay. So again, anything or all the terms with the radicals in them will disappear and we combine like terms. So x squared, I've got a negative 6x and a negative 6x, so negative 12x, and 36 minus 3 gives me a positive 33. It's an equation, so I'm going to put y equals, and I've got my answer. You got it. Anybody? Good. Right. Sometimes it just takes an extra practice with that one. You'll treat the imaginary numbers the same exact way as well, okay? So if you had 6 plus 3i, you would do the same thing, okay? So you would have a 6 minus 3i. All right? Any questions on this? I don't think I have anything else with that, unless y'all want to multiply out number 6. No?
I'm all good.
All good?
No.
So confident. All right, go ahead and get started on your homework.